The Watcher in the Woods. There's a house deep in the forest, long forgotten by time, where no one dared to live. Locals call it the Hollow House, a decaying relic swallowed by creeping vines and tangled roots. It's been abandoned for as long as anyone can remember, but no one can forget the stories. Some say the house was once home to a family. Others whisper it was a prison for something far older, far darker. But they all agree on one thing: no one goes near it after dark. Ethan didn't care about local legends. He had always been a skeptic, the kind of person who needed to see to believe. When his friends dared him to spend a night in the Hollow House, he laughed it off. "Easy," he said. "I'll bring back pictures." Armed with a flashlight, camera, and more confidence than he should have had, Ethan made his way to the woods. As he approached the house, a sense of unease crawled up his spine. The air seemed heavier here, colder, despite it being the middle of summer. The house loomed ahead, half hidden in the shadows of the towering trees, its windows like empty eye sockets watching him. Ethan shook it off, just his imagination. The front door creaked open with a reluctant groan as he pushed it. Inside, the air was stale, thick with the scent of rot and mould. Dust hung in the air like a veil, disturbed only by his footsteps echoing through the hollow rooms. He wandered through the decaying house, taking pictures, chuckling to himself at how anticlimactic it all felt. But as he turned a corner into the living room, his flashlight flickered. Ethan cursed under his breath and slapped it, the light sputtering back to life. That's when he saw it. A figure, just out of the corner of his eye, standing at the edge of the room, its face shrouded in the shadow. Ethan spun around, shining the light directly at the spot. Nothing, just an empty corner. His pulse quickened. "Relax," he muttered. "You're freaking yourself out." But the more rooms he explored, the stronger the feeling grew. He wasn't alone. He could feel eyes on him, watching, waiting. Each creak of the floorboard seemed to echo longer than it should. Each gust of wind through the broken windows sounded like a whisper just out of reach. And always, just at the edge of his vision, he saw it. A figure, standing still, silent, watching him from the shadows. Ethan's confidence faltered. He took a deep breath, telling himself it was just his mind playing tricks. But as he moved through the house, the atmosphere grew heavier, the shadows deeper. Something was wrong. He could feel it. Then in the basement, he saw it, clearly for the first time. The flashlight's beam landed on a tall, thin figure standing at the far end of the room. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, stretched too tightly over its bones. Hollow, black eyes staring back at him, unblinking. The thing didn't move, but Ethan felt an overwhelming sense of malice radiating from it, a hunger. His heart pounded in his chest as the thing stepped forward, its movements unnatural, jerky. He stumbled backwards, dropping the flashlight. Darkness swallowed the room, but he could hear it now. The thing's breathing, ragged and slow, coming closer. Ethan bolted for the stairs, scrambling up them as fast as he could. He heard the thing behind him, its footsteps slow but deliberate. It was in no hurry. It knew he couldn't escape. He made it to the front door and threw it open, bursting into the night air. He didn't stop running until he reached his car. He fumbled with the keys, glancing over his shoulder. The figure stood at the edge of the trees, watching. Ethan sped away, not daring to look back again. That night, he tried to convince himself it wasn't real, that it was just a trick of the light, an overactive imagination. But the next morning, when he checked his camera, his blood ran cold. Every picture he had taken in the house was fine, except the last one. In the final photo taken, just as he was running out, the pale figure stood at the window, watching him, and its black eyes staring right into the camera.